Expats, you need to listen up because there's a darkness with the 2030 agenda that's been happening since May to October 2025, but nobody's talking about it. Expats are getting caught on the wrong side of their travel adventures. Expats are booting it back to America. Expats are confused and do not know how to get long-term residency, how to create a 5 to 10 year plan, how to structure their business and market their business so they can get residency in the territories that they want to go to. This is what we're covering today, and it's going to shock you what we're about to unlock.
Yeah, so this is why we always say you have to know how to move around. You have to learn what you need to do to be able to get these 5-year, 10-year residencies, because that's very important. Because what is coming, the research that we have done, it's getting scary. It's getting to a point where it's like, do I really want to deal with these type of governments that's going to be into play? So this is something that you really got to think about. So stick around, make sure you like the video, leave your comments below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and yeah, let's begin.
You know what? A client from the state of the diaspora, someone who's preparing to be an expat, asked me this question. Here it is. She said, I want to go abroad, but I do not have my business together yet. I don't have enough savings yet. I don't know what to do. Should I just try to apply for the 10-year visa and just see if it'll work? And my response to that is no. You have to properly have your legal paperwork together, which includes your business operations. And I don't mean you have an LLC on paper and then you're not generating revenue, or you don't know that you need to have your birth certificate match the name on your passport. We are going into a time where travel is going to be difficult for the unprepared. And if you are the unprepared, or you align with where she feels like she's at right now, this is the time for you to prepare, to listen to what we're saying in this video. This is why we have the Mature Adult Intensive. It's a 4-week intensive where we go over what you need to cover in the States before you even move. Yeah. Because actually your move abroad doesn't start with the airplane ticket. The airplane ticket is basically the last thing you're gonna do when you move abroad. The first thing you should do is acquire the right type of business. Run your business. Have revenue streams in your company. Get your paperwork together. Then you're ready to be an expat and travel abroad. The only exception truly is if you're a retiree, because even if you were a digital nomad in Thailand, you and I both know that you had to have your paperwork in order for that as well. Or else your situations abroad get very precarious, very risky. In fact, there was another video I watched from a sister who is in Thailand, and she said, you know, I just don't know what to do next. I've been doing my 6-month visa runs in Thailand. I don't know where to go or what to do, because she doesn't have a business incorporated. Although she does have a YouTube channel, she has not properly incorporated it into a business with a website and marketing strategy. These are the systems that matter, because actually recently, to renew our residence, we had to include our entire portfolio. Systems are changing. The world is shifting to who is going to provide value on paper. If you do not have that value already unlocked when you're in the States with a repertoire of clients, do not listen to the people who will tell you that when you move to Africa, or when you move to Asia, or when you move to Panama, what you did in the States doesn't matter. That is false. That is foolishness. That is stupidity, because actually your portfolio and who you are in the States 100% matters, and it's going to be the door opener and the differentiator between if you get a 5 to 10 year permit, if you get a digital nomad residence or not.
Yeah, that's good. I do want to speak on something, because we are talking about doing the right thing. We want everyone to do the righteous thing and strive for that, because of course there's countries out here where you can bring value as a person, you get what I'm saying, rather than on paper. But that comes with a lot of corruption. I tell you that. That comes with bribery. That comes with not doing the right thing. That comes with just a lot of things that you shouldn't be going through. So what we are talking about is something that is going to set you up for long term. That's really going to set you up for sustainability, where you can be here or wherever you go in the world. Put it like that. Wherever you
Right,
go in the
right.
world, this is going to set you up in a way so you can be good. So I know a lot of people, like, they like, we see a lot of, YouTube people say, come to this country, go to this country, and that's okay, but what is it going to cost in the end? Is it going to cost your righteousness? Put it like
Oh,
that, because that is really getting heavy. Things are changing, governments are changing. I'm telling you guys, it's changing so fast. Even last year, we didn't even catch the information that we was looking at, and it's like, whoa, okay, now it's time to really pray and ask the Most High, like, where should we be as a people? Where is the next Goshen in a way? And it's not too late. It's really not too late. But you
right.
do have to, you have to have the eyes to see, and you have to have the ears to hear. You gotta have the spirit of the Most High lead you and guide you, because if not, you just gonna be running around in circles. You're just gonna be running around in the wilderness. And I guess that's okay for some people. I'm not this look, 6 months and you have to go to a border, another 6 months you have to go to a border. But I tell you what, for us, nah, that's a little bit too much. We have a big family. So we're speaking to people that is really serious, that really wants to settle down. There's tons of places. There's lots of places where you can do this. And there's
Yeah.
lots of places where, of course, you can do border runs and live life and be okay, but it's time to really get serious about this information that we are sharing with you guys.
Yeah, you have to understand the times and be thinking generational legacy. Even if you're a retiree, thinking of your nieces and nephews. Even if you're like us and your parents, thinking of your nieces and nephews. Thinking if you're a retiree of your grandchildren, like thinking long-term nation building. Nobody in the biblical days, especially Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, were just thinking for one generation. That is the most foolish thing that you can think about. Every decision that you make today, whether it's in business, whether it's in investing, whether it's in traveling, needs to go through an evaluation sequence where you are saying, okay, how does this impact the generations that are after me? And if it does not impact them in a good way, then you need to switch decisions. But if it does, then you, my friend, are on the golden road to preparing a legacy for those that are going to follow you, that is going to be written in the book of the righteous and not written in the book of the lazy and foolish. Okay, now let me tell you what we found. I'm going to tell you simply like this: these digital IDs for 2030, they are about to perpetrate this across the entire globe. The White House is going to be the captain of it. Go to the whitehouse.gov. I'll leave it down below, okay? The whitehouse.gov said America is going to be the capital of the digital AI ID system. They said, we want to be the kings of the world with this system. This is why Russia is looking into investing with the US. This is why countries are looking around and saying, okay, how am I going to do this? Because COVID was just a pre-ensemble of this whole thing.
That's deep right there. That's deep.
It was just a pre-ensemble, and we understood that back then, but we were thinking of maybe it'll be a pandemic next.
Yeah, it's a choice. It really comes down to a choice, especially when we talk about that pandemic. It's crazy how so many people chose wrong, and they did not have to. Like, it's so many people that was stuck and just doing things that, soon as you feel uncomfortable. This is why we say, like, when you feel uncomfortable, that means that you are about to grow. That means that this uncomfortableness is going to help you grow. So this is why we say moving abroad is just going to help you grow as a person. It's going to help you grow mentally. It's going to help you grow spiritually. It's going to help you grow emotionally, physically, all of it. Because what happened in 2020, that's huge. That like, when, just think about it, guys. Leave a comment below and like just let me know like how crazy that was, to a point where the whole world we couldn't even be this close. We had tension amongst ourselves.
In Ohio.
Like, why you coughing like that? Hold on. You get what I'm saying?
Gosh, that was a funny time.
That is crazy to think about. But what if something like that comes back to
In a
play
different way.
in a different way, yes. But it's going to come. I guess the main thing is your choice. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
'cause
the most important thing.
our testimony is the fact that we have never taken any C19 pricks, any tests ever. Can you believe that? We have not done one C19 test. Why? Because we prepared before we left the States. We saw it was heating up. We transitioned and moved to one of the only 2 countries in the world that were open at the time. Shout out to everybody who's like, well, it's going to be worldwide. Well, COVID was worldwide. And guess what? There were 2 countries open at the time.
Yeah.
Of which you did not have to get a prick, a test, a nothing. Okay? And so here's what's happening. For those who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, for those who are interested in leaving a legacy outside of super surveillance AI systems, there are going to be locations in the world, mainly sub-Saharan Africa, a few islands in the Indian Ocean, and a few places in the global south that are going to technically appear, oh, it's COVID restrictions, but they're not going to be real restrictions, because they cannot be fully implemented in these territories since they don't even have adequate Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
There's not adequate electricity. And so these systems will not function the same way it's going to function in the White House. Clearly, you can see the difference when you look at these different regions. And if this is the type of conversation that you want to have behind the scenes, you should go to www.journeywithusmovetoafrica.com. If you are someone that is value-based and your core value is this, I am unwilling to do what the world does. That's the core value that brought us here today. I am unwilling to take a C19, mask, vax, all this stuff. And now you see what happened 5 years later. And I can tell you, 5-6 years later, we are very, very pleased with our decisions. We look back on our decisions 5-6 years ago and we're like, oh, thank y'all. Y'all, what's next? What would you have us to do next so that we see the next Goshen opportunity and that we do not miss out on your wisdom and your goodness? Because I'm telling you, there are doors opening up. There are even doors in South America if you wanted to go that route. There are doors that are open. But another recent conversation that we've had with clients in the Mature Adult Intensive is the fact that Canada may become America, Venezuela may become America, Mexico may become America. And so people that are expats in South America who have properties in Mexico, properties in Panama, properties in Belize, they are looking at the times and they are hearing a voice. And it's like, I don't think I should be on this side of the world when World War III pops off, because make no mistake, what I'm also about to show you today, well, I'm about to read to you that thing that I showed you earlier on the photos. With the warning.
It's deep.
Somebody who owns $150 billion global fund is sending a warning to people, and you want to listen to that warning.
Yeah, and you should be able to listen. I guess for us it's so simple to say, but I know some people, they just can't hear.
Just can't hear. Yeah, they couldn't hear during COVID. They sure did take that back.
But I do want to say something that's very important too. Just like my wife was just talking about, we don't want to be part of this world, right? But you still have to give Caesar what's due to Caesar. So this is why we say your paperwork has to be in order. That's pretty much give Caesar due what's to Caesar. But you don't want to give corruption. You get what I'm saying? You don't want to give rivalry and something that's going to cause you to be outside of to be outside of the Most High's will for you. But that is very important. And if you can see and hear, this should be you should be like right here. You get what I'm saying? We should be at the same level. And it's really starting to heat up with everything happening in the West, with everything happening on this side of the world, with Iran and stuff, and America and Israel, and ships being put by ports, and Navy ships and this and that. Is really getting tough, and this is a perfect example of what could happen pretty soon.
Exactly. So I'm about to read you these slides that I saw on Instagram. Take a look because it's pretty interesting. But here it is. Ray Dalio's tweet hit 72 million views. This is the man who predicted the great crash of 2008, of which I'm thankful to the Most High that my father and my mother were not impacted by that crash at all, due to being in the right position at the right time. I just remember 2008 and I didn't even know it was a recession. I think that's such a good legacy to leave, where you as a parent or as a grandparent, you prepare things so well by the ordination of the Most High that your children don't feel a famine or a recession. They think they're just in wealth. Okay. He also predicted the COVID markets. If you didn't pay attention to the COVID markets, it was pretty crazy. And manages $150 billion. He just said the world order has been broken down. Here's everything that you need to know. So, Ray Dalio is the founder of Bridgewater Associates, the largest hedge fund on earth. And right now he's saying we're entering into what he calls the stage 6 of the big cycle, the stage that preceded every single major war in history. Roughly every 100 to 150 years, the world order resets. It happened in 1648, 1815, clearly 1945, and it's happening again right now in 2026. Now, the pattern is consistently the same across the board. Number one, you start with debt bubbles that start to explode. We're already through that. The debt has already exploded. They were already printing stimulus way back when. So we're already there. America, 38 trillion in debt and counting. That's fine. They're already there. Germany as well. Scrupulous amounts of debt. Germany's economy is failing as well. Wealth gaps hit the breaking point. If you ask your grandparents, they lived in a very different America than you do, friend. Their America, they could buy a house on a one income and just have their house, and it was relative to where it matched the amount of money they got for the house. But this is why the wealth gap is increasing, and it's not just black and white. It's poor white, the serf people of society as well. So it's not just race. Race is such a construct that's just minute compared to the bigger picture here. It's, are you going to be a poor serf, or are you going to be extremely crazy, insanely wealthy? Next, populism rises. Have you noticed across the globe, Kenya, Nepal, South Africa, Tanzania recently, that was a shocker when the president unalived thousands and thousands of their own people. People are protesting. People are in the streets. They're not pleased. And the last part of the cycle, the great powers clash, which is the phase we're in. You can see the great powers clashing. Russia and America talking about doing business together. France just said they're going to let in 30,000 Indian workers. Since when is France so pro-India? Now, they've always had good relations with India, but they're like, France and India about to be like this, because America and France right now are kind of like...
Yeah, and even France was talking about war with Niger. It's like... It's so many things that's happening, like nations rising against nations that you would never think.
Kingdom against kingdom.
Yeah, it's just heating up, like, yeah.
And then next, after that, after the great powers clash, guess what's next? 2030 agenda, the new world emerges. And here's the truth. This isn't just Ray Dalio giving this warning, because just last week at the Munich Security Conference of 2026, German Chancellor Merz said the world order does not exist. French President Macron just said Europe must prepare for war. Not Bitcoin, not fun times, not doing more alliances with America, war. The U.S. Secretary of State Rubio from Florida said the old world is gone. When leaders say this out loud, smart money and smart people are already moving. Now, here's the thing. Dalio says before every single military war, there are also 4 others. Let me know if any of these wars sound familiar, or if you're living through them, if you're on the front lines, okay? Number 1, trade war. Can somebody raise a hand and let us know what a trade war is? Because I recall something, I think it happened last year, where Trump had put out a poster announcing essentially a trade war with every nation of the earth. Okay, check mark. Technology war, chip bans, AI restrictions, and infrastructure. Now, I don't know about y'all. Y'all may not be into AI, but I'm a tech marketing consultant. So I have to look at these things. I evaluate AIs. I do all those things, test constraints, all of those things for clients and more, corporate clients. And let me tell you, the Claude versus ChatGPT versus China DeepSeek versus those other people's AIs, the AI war is in full motion. That's why Russia wants to invest 12 trillion into American AI, because America has already announced, look at the White House, it's on the website, I'm gonna drop it down below. They have already announced the fact that they are going to be the AI king or the AI pharaoh of the world. And then we have capital war. This is sanctions and dollar weaponization. So we have seen this phase of people trying to de-dollarize, but it just wasn't able to take place the way the AI had popped up in 2022. The nations didn't foresee that America would have this type of insane technology like China, where this AI thing, I mean, if you invest in AI companies, you already know 60% gains in the market last year. 90% gains on AI tech companies. Capital war, sanctions. Russia has sanctions. They're looking to reverse those sanctions. They're like, you know what? We need to come out of this darkness and into the American light of help us get some profit in our pockets so we can sell this oil and do what we need to do. Next, geopolitical war. Taiwan, Ukraine, and Russia, and the Middle East. All of these places are geopolitical mini wars going on. But what comes next is full military war. And what do you think happens when military war breaks out? Well, history gives us the full answer. World War I was hyperinflation. Bags of cash could not even buy bread. This actually mimics Revelations, where it says in Revelations you would have a denarius, which was the old Roman coin, and you would try to buy a loaf of bread and it would not buy enough. World War II, markets closed for years, like nearly a decade, and investors were trapped. Wealth was gone. The 1970s Cold War peak, prices doubled, and 2.3 million jobs were lost. The pattern is always the same. Countries print money to fund wars, and the Middle East, or the middle class, I said the Middle East, the middle class pays the bill. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. There's only a remnant of people who can see this. There's only a remnant of people who even have the eyes to see and ears to hear what's going to happen. But here is the advice that this multi-billionaire is giving. He says, sell debt assets, bonds, treasuries, saving accounts. They're going to be worth nothing. Buy recession-proof assets, gold, real estate, things that hold value when currencies collapse. Every collapse creates two groups. You're either in the prepared or the unprepared.
Yes. So guys, look, hope you listen. Hope you really listen. So we don't come on here to try to tell you guys something that you just want to hear. We come on here to tell you guys what you need to hear. So the things that we say, the things that we tell you to click on, like the links in the description, check them out. We do these things to help you prepare and not be unprepared. Like, it's really getting to that time to preparation is key. You know, legacy is going to be even more important than ever before, especially if you have a family. This is for the next generation. This is for, you know, even the generation that we are in now, 10, 20 years now.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it is very important to know these skill sets, to understand that gold is something that you have to invest in. You know, this is why we always talk about it. This is why I do Sunday market blueprints, so we can discuss these things on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
You know, so we can like really go through this information. It's very, very important. You know, and you're really not gonna get all the information here on YouTube. So that's why we say go behind the scenes with us, so we can have these discussions, so we can, you know, have like-minded people right there talking amongst each other, because that's very important. That community right there is super important in these times. So I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's it. Check out the links in the description. We'll see you in the next video. Let me know what you think of this down below. Remember, y'all gotta start being resourceful. Read or listen to The Pale White Horse Look at the White House website that's telling you what's about to happen before 2030. And
Yeah.
don't be naive, because remember, COVID-19, we were not counted amongst the naive.
Exactly.
We knew it would change the entire world. We knew America would never be the same. And so we exited.
Yeah.
We
And
performed an exodus, and it was the best thing that we have done to date.
yeah, hallelujah. So the choice is yours. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Shalom.
Shalom.